Howdy folks, this is Big Sam. Today, we're taking a look at the differences between the M91 and the M9130 Mosin Nagant handguards, because they're extremely different, and I want to clear up a few misconceptions that are out there about these handguards. Now, the first thing we want to do is figure out what the difference is. And the best way to do that is going to be to look at the differences between the barrel bands. So here on my left, I have a barrel band from an M91 rifle. And here on my right, I have a barrel band from a 9130 rifle. And as you can see, there's some really big differences here. But the big thing we want to focus on for the purposes of this video is going to be how exactly the barrel band on each rifle interacts with the handguard, okay? So if we look up here on our 9130 rifle, the way the barrel band interacts with the handguard is it slides on from up here from the muzzle, slides on like here, back here, slides over this retainer spring. See, I can press this down with my finger like that, and it's going to snap into place. And now we can see the spring's propped up, so I can't pull this guy off unless I depress the barrel band retention spring first with my finger, like that. But we can see here that the barrel band actually sits on top of the handguard, and that's actually how it clamps it onto the barrel. Same with the front handguard. Well, the M91 handguard works a little bit differently, and here's why. Let's take a look at the shape. See here how we have these little notches right here on each side? Well, the reason for that, and I thankfully have an M91 handguard here, for example. The way this works is a little bit different. You see, on a 9130 barrel band, it actually sits on top of the handguard like that, see? But on M91s, the barrel bands don't actually sit on top of the handguards. What happens is they interface with these little tabs here. See, like that. And that's what we can see is happening here. Okay, so it's a really different retention mechanism than what we see on the 9130 style of rifle. Okay, so why is this important? Well, the main reason this is important is because these two barrel bands are completely non-interchangeable. Okay, and that's one of the misconceptions about these rifles. So I cannot take a 9130 handguard like this and just put it on this rifle because the retention system is not compatible with this handguard, right? So see, you might be tempted to try to do something like that, but if you look under the stock, this is just not going to work. It's not going to be able to slide on like that. Okay. So if you have an M91 rifle, and it's fairly common to have one where the handguard is missing. Okay. So what do you do when the handguard's missing? Well, unfortunately, you can't just take a 9130 handguard like this and throw it on here. And it's a little unfortunate because these are pretty easy to find and relatively affordable. I think you can probably get one of these for maybe $30 US. Not too bad. These are fairly common. The M91 handguards, though, are a little bit of a different story. Okay, these are much rarer. Generally, these are worth approximately $150 US is what I see them sell for. But and you might say, wow, that's kind of a lot of money. Well, it is, but what's a little bit more unfortunate is how hard it is to actually find one of these. Generally, when you find someone trying to sell one of these handguards, they're actually going to be overseas from here in America. Maybe Estonia, Finland, maybe Bulgaria, you might find some. Don't really see much for sale in Russia. Now, you can also get reproduction handguards. There's a company here in the US that sells reproduction handguards for M91s, and they cost $100 US. So that may be a little bit of a better option for you. You know, it depends. You know, some people will go the reproduction option. which is fine. I don't really have any problems with that. It's a little bit cheaper, and it's easy to get one. And some people like the original style, which is fine. You just got to have the patience to find one. And the other frustrating thing about this is actually finding an M91 pattern of handguard like I have here that's really not cracked up super badly, because it's actually really fragile. And I think it's one of the reasons they went away with this design. It's quite long, and it's really easy to just like snap this. In fact, you have to be careful when picking up one of these rifles. What you don't want to do is grab it by here, because what you can actually, you might notice if you have an M91, or if you've looked at one before, I can actually press down on this and there's some play here. So that's bad, because if I press this with enough force, or if I drop this on here, it's really easy to start cracking this. And it's really common to see cracks, especially around here, where we have our rivets. And that's how this whole system is being retained on here. We can see we had this little brass end cap, and there's these little rivets. Well, when you rivet wood, it sort of just wants to crack. I mean, that's just sort of the way God made wood. It's just kind of one of its properties. It likes to crack, especially when it's this thin. So that's one of the problems you have to deal with. Now, another problem with that is if you buy one of these, it can be difficult to find one where the finish and the color really matches the stock nicely. So that's one of the other things you may just kind of have to deal with there. Okay. So that's sort of the main differences here between these handguards. And again, these are not interchangeable. So if you happen to be missing a 9130 handguard, well, you're in luck, because these are relatively easy to find and they're relatively cheap. But if you're missing an M91 handguard, it's not impossible to get one. You may be able to find one on eBay actually right now if you look hard enough. There's a few other places that may have these in stock. And if you're missing one of these and you need help tracking one down, feel free to shoot me an email. I may be able to find you or hook you up with somebody that's selling one of these. So let me know. And that, folks, are the main differences between the M91 and the 9130 handguards. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. Let me know what y'all like to see next. And let me know if you have any prayer requests. And I'll see you next time.